Hi YouTube. YouTube. I've been gone a long time. I know that. My mom's been home on sick leave for a while, so she's home all the time. And I can't do videos while she's home. Now, being gone for 2 months-ish, I've had plenty of stuff. I've come across many things that I can rant about, but this one sticks out the most. Honestly, I will make videos whenever I have time or somewhere I can make them. I might have to find a different location altogether. I have some guest stars. Not really stars, just my friends that want to do the rants with me, but I'm accommodating for this whole situation. Alright, so about a month ago, halfway through May 16th, I believe, Mom and I were driving along a street. It was in the middle of our city, or our part of the city. Anyway, it was this really busy area that's like hell during rush hour, like those kind of areas that you would find in any city. There's a transit in my city is awesome, so there was like literally 2 blocks of bus stops, just bus stop after bus stop after bus stop. We're driving along, and I yell at Mom to stop the car because there's a lady laying on the street. And I mean, like, on the street, not by the sidewalk and kind of off to the side where bikes are. I mean, like, across the right lane. She fell off the sidewalk. And she wasn't old. She was an older lady. Maybe 50-ish. I don't know. And she'd obviously fallen. She had a scrape on her face, and her hands were bleeding, and it was awful. And we pick her up off, like, okay, first of all, there's people around, and we were the ones to stop. There are people on the sidewalk and along the street, across the street, waiting for their buses and all that stuff. She's laying on the street. It's not like she blended into the concrete. She was laying on the street with a red jacket, not, like, you could see her. It's not like she was invisible. And we were the ones to stop. We stopped our car to help her, and all these people who were conveniently standing nearby didn't move. There was one girl that came over when we got out of the car, and she helped us get the lady off the ground. She could barely stand on her own. She was really tipsy. I don't mean tipsy as in drunk. I just mean she, like, couldn't stand. She was slurring her words a lot, and my mom's first assumption was she had a stroke or something like that. So we load her into the car, and we take her to the hospital. At the hospital, love hospitals. Anybody that's been to a hospital knows that there's a whole process you have to go through to get to get a bed, and then there's a whole waiting time until you get to see a doctor. Anyway, hospitals are painful. We all know that. The receptionist, because you have to actually jump through a lot of hoops to actually get into the hospital. The receptionist of the ER, she's supposed to take your care card, make sure your information is correct in the system, all that kind of stuff. And luckily, this lady had her care card on her. I mean, normally people don't carry those around. Good thing she did. So the receptionist, who you would expect to be nicer, I guess. She's on, for one, she's on the other side of a window, and you only have, like, this box to talk through. Well, actually, there was, like, a little thing where you hand her the card through, so we were kind of talking to her through that, because the lady's in a fucking wheelchair now. We had her in a wheelchair. Now, this receptionist is yelling at this lady. Well, because of the inconvenient glass between us, but also because she's just rude. It wasn't like I have to raise my voice so you can hear me. It's what's going on? What's going on with you? Do you have your care card? Do you have your driver's license? She's just yelling at her with a tone. It's the tone. Yelling is acceptable if it's necessary because we can't hear you, but when you have the tone, that's completely different. And as I said before, this lady could barely talk. She couldn't stand on her own, and I told her my name 4 or 5 times, and she still couldn't articulate. Like, she couldn't say my name. She could barely say her own. Actually, I don't think I even learned her name, now that I think about it. Anyway, so while I checked her in, Mom was calling her son, because the lady gave us a phone number to call. Thank God she was capable of that. She gave us a phone number. Mom called. Oh, and it was her daughter that answered, and her daughter sent her. Anyway, the lady's son was coming to pick her up, and we took her into the waiting area. And when you go to the waiting area, you're not waiting to get like into the hospital part. You're waiting to talk to the check-in nurse, and the check-in nurse is another whole issue. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, the check-in nurse is you tell them what's wrong. They write up the little report that the doctor reads when they come to your room, kind of thing. They take your blood pressure, they check your temperature, look at your pupils if they need to, whatever they think is necessary to give to the doctor. So, I wheel her in, and the check-in nurse was no better. Actually, she was worse, now that I think about it. She was doing about the same thing. She's like, "What's wrong with you, ma'am?" Just yelling. I don't even know why they were yelling. Usually you start off talking normally, but then they're like, "What's going on?"